I remember crossing the line in Paris and just having this overwhelming sensation of like satisfaction, relief, and like, oh my God, I pulled it off. Like, wow.
You're the hunted now, like going from the hunting to the hunted.
You know, I've been world number one, I've won world championships, and then, you know, the Olympics. And so you're coming in and everyone's chasing that number one bib and wants to take you down. You're also going to evolve, and maybe what worked to a certain point won't work next time, and you've got to be okay with that.
Jess Fox, welcome to the pod.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. Welcome to Penrith.
Mate, I love Penrith. This is actually my second time in Penrith.
What was the first time?
I've played golf out here actually.
Oh.
At
Penrith
Two Creeks.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
now you've done the other, you know, more exciting activity in Penrith. You've been paddling, which is awesome.
It's amazing.
Great to have you here.
Absolutely love this. Like, for those out there who don't know, which no one would that's listening, we just did 3 laps of the...
3 of the best ever.
Well, they are saying that. I actually did say to the team beforehand, I don't have time to be scouted for anything. I've already reached the pinnacle of my sporting career, and now I like to talk to the best in the business. I don't want to join the Australian team. She assured me that I wouldn't, but we had some fun. We went paddling and we did the loops.
We'll let them down, you know, lightly when they come knocking. Yeah, we did. It was good to have you out here. You did pretty well. I'm looking forward to seeing the footage and counting how many gates you got clean. There wasn't that many, but that's okay.
In fairness as well, I will say you didn't tell me about that the first lap. The first lap we was just just said just survive and get down.
Yeah.
The second lap we started going through the gates. I was with Cal, who's an absolute champion, and racing with you. Which, in all honesty, you know, I'll give you credit because you deserve it. But I was like, I take things way too deeply when I'm in them.
Yeah.
And I was like going, this is an amazing experience. I've also got the world's best, a 3-time Olympic gold medalist, doing loops around me. I was pinching myself. So thank you for your time. I know that you didn't have to do that. It was a lot of fun.
No, pleasure. I'd just finished training, so it was just a few extra laps and I was tired, which is why you won the last lap. Well, that's, you know, you beat me on that one. But no, it was awesome to have you here and a great way to like start the day, nice and fresh, now ready for a podcast.
Talk us through, so it's Fox Island as well, so named after you and your sister, Noemi, who I've been practicing that name for the last sort of like 10 minutes, but named after you too, and the impact you've had obviously in Australian sport. But pretty cool to rock up and have your own Fox Island at this beautiful track in Penrith. Yeah,
it's pretty surreal to see that signage when we walk in, and to have that, I guess, legacy out here, because our family's been involved in the sport. And in Australia as well, was part of that bid to get this venue built, with my dad being part of that process. So it is pretty special. And, you know, they've both been coaches for the national team. Mum's still coaching. And then for Noemi and I to, you know, win gold in Paris, it's a beautiful recognition for us. So we're very thankful for that.
Yeah, very full circle, isn't it? Obviously with the French connection to your family and your mum, obviously there too, which we'll chat about later. But yeah, very cool place. You're saying this is the only one. It's the only one in Australia as well.
Yeah. So it was built for the Sydney Olympics. So it is the only man-made world-class venue here, and this is where we have all our selection trials, domestic competitions, but we also have international races. And this year we've got a big one. We've got the world champs coming to Penrith, coming to our home course in September, end of September, start of October. So we're pretty stoked about that. And yeah, the whole national squad is based here. You met a few of them today.
I met 3 of the boys. I could not believe it. Like 3 guys. I was telling everyone around me that I'd been kayaking, canoeing before.
Yeah.
And no one really believed me. But at my school, I went to a school in Melbourne, Ivan Grammar, and they were massively into this stuff. And 3 of the guys are on the men's team that they went to my school.
Like one of the biggest feeder schools for our sport, and so many paddlers have come out of that school in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And so, one of my teammates, Tristan, I know he loves AFL, so I was like, I'll introduce you guys. And then you were like, yeah, my school had a canoe kayak team. And I was like, what are the odds?
And he had no idea who I was. Yeah. And I went to his school, and I was like 10 years older than him, which is crazy, but amazing, small world.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you like? It's so crazy hanging out with you today, and you're obviously like a very down to earth person, but you train. We're doing a podcast. We're drinking RedBulls. What do you like? How does the rest of your week sort of look like? What do you get up to? Like, do you have balance? And I hate that question. Sometimes it can get thrown around so much, like it's just this annoying word, and I don't even think sometimes to be the best in the world, you can't have balance. I'm curious how it sort of sits with you. Where are you at?
Yeah, I think it is always an interesting conversation, and depending on who you ask, they'll say, you know, to become the best in your field, you can't have balance. You've got to be all in and, you know, obsessive almost about every detail, and that's got to be all encompassing. And then other people will say, no, but I'm a better person and a more well-rounded person if I have so many things going on at once. And I think for different parts of my life, like obviously leading into Paris, it was like those last couple of months were just full focus. But outside of that, I think it's important to have other things happening in my life. And also now there's other like commitments and responsibilities that I have for either, you know, sponsors or brand partners that I'm working with, you know, team requirements that I've got to be part of, or, you know, my other like AOC, IOC commitments with like athlete representation roles that I'm in. So I'm kind of pulled around in different directions, but I also love that. And I think that's important for me, for my like development and for my life after sport. And my weeks are never the same, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like I think since the Olympics had the opportunity to have some pretty amazing experiences, and I love saying yes to things and, you know, working in media and different things. But then I also sometimes say yes too much and maybe burn myself out. So it's finding that balance and getting to like knowing myself when I need to pull back and when I'm able to do things and what's going to fill my cup, what am I going to enjoy, and then being okay saying no when I know I don't have the capacity, like socially, emotionally, or, you know, physically to be able to do it.
It's a good, great response. I think even, you know, sport and business are so similar. Life, it's all the same, really. Like, you know, if you can be balanced and have discipline in one thing, it's going to translate to the rest of them. And I think for like a long time, someone gave me great advice. They're like, you got to say yes to everything, and then you got to start saying no to everything.
Yeah.
And you got to like, the hardest part is like finding when that time is to start saying like no. Because the yes stage gets you to a certain point. I love analogies, by the way.
Yeah,
but then the next one is another one. I'm analogizing another one on top is what gets you here doesn't get you there.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, I made
do
it
love
up.
That. I've heard it before.
No, trust me, I actually made that up.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I heard it on your podcast.
I didn't make it up. So I think like in that place too, it's interesting because what's got you to where you are, you know, obviously you want to keep going and transcending. So you've got to change what happens next, I suppose.
Yeah, and I guess you're also going to evolve, and maybe what worked to a certain point won't work next time, and you've got to be okay with that. I think in sport it's interesting because, you know, we've got certain ways of preparing for a competition where if it's worked, you think, oh, well, I'll just repeat the process. But I think, you know, years like the COVID year taught us that, especially for us, we were so removed from international competition in the lead up to the Tokyo Olympics that you just kind of had to remove yourself from any. Well, I had to change my mindset to be like, well, it's not going to be the same as any other games lead-in preparation, and I've got to be okay with that. And also maybe that's what I need to get me to the next level to try and win that gold medal. So I sort of, there's ways to, you know, you keep what works well and then try and find ways to keep improving. And it's hard when you've reached the top to find ways, those 1%ers to keep improving. And I'm pretty lucky. I've got an amazing team that I get to work with, you know, of coaches and people around me who are always looking to bring the best out of me. And if I'm not motivated, I know they are pretty motivated and, you know, giving their best to try and see me do my best. Yeah,
talk us through your team, because that'd be so interesting. I think especially, you know, obviously you're in a team, but it's somewhat of an individual sport. Well, it is really. And we said before about like what gets you here doesn't get you there, developing the people around you, and with individual sport, I often relate it back to team sport as well, which I know you're a big fan of rugby league, and I like, you know, AFL, and you'll see some teams get to that point where they're almost thriving on being the underdog and they want to get that first medal or that first trophy, but then you've got to change to be like, you're the hunted now, like going from the hunting to the hunted. Like, how have you been able to do that? Because like you're going into games now as the favourite, or you've got to back that up, and it's a different place to be, and you've got to have the right people around you to do it.
Yeah, it is very different when you've got that youth on your side, and you've got that nothing to lose mentality of just, hunger to try and make it and to chase who's in front. And I think when I've been world number one, I've won world championships, and then, the Olympics. And so you're coming in and everyone's chasing that number one bib and wants to take you down. But we're also, individual sport. I think what's cool is it's a kayak cross is confrontational in that you're head to head. But in slalom, it's you versus you versus the course. And you've got the opportunity to just bring out your best on the day and see what that's going to be, and you don't know whether it'll be good enough for a podium or the win. And I think I kind of love that. So that's what's kept me that challenge high, as opposed to I've got to win. But yeah, my team, who I always say Mum, who's my coach predominantly, she is the most motivated, passionate person I've ever met. Some days she'll be like, I'll get in the boat and I'll show you how to do it. Like she's just so ready to, I don't think her brain ever switches off. Like she's constantly scanning, watching video. She might have my competitors on social media and be like, did you see what so-and-so did on the weekend? Or like, have you seen that exercise in the gym? Can you do that? So she's a very competitive person, but also, wants a high level, a high standard at training. And that, I think, has allowed us to be the best and to be a really good squad too, because my teammates, my sister Noemi, but also Kate Eckhart, one of my other teammates, we won gold together at the World Championships in the team event. They're both doing really well in the World Cups and the lead into the Worlds this year as well. So it creates a really positive environment for growth and for challenging each other. And so I'm very lucky to have her and have had her be part of my career and life, obviously. And then we have Nick Perry, who's also another big one. He's our SNC coach and data analyst. Well, he wears many hats, Nick. He's awesome, and he really has helped me in terms of my strength and conditioning and just growth as an athlete, and also, minimising injuries. And obviously then we've got physios who we work with, and Tony's been my physio since I was 11, so he's seen me evolve as an athlete. And then sports psych has been a big one too, especially in the lead up to Paris.
Who do you work with there? Is that like do you have your own?
With New South NSWIS, New South Wales Institute of Sport, our team has Chris. His name's Chris, and he was on the call, many teary phone calls and breakdowns in the lead up to Paris. But I think it's great to find people that you work well with, that you trust, and it's also such a privilege to know that these people are there to try and help you achieve your dream. Like it's such a crazy thing as an athlete that we're out there just trying to win a gold medal, and these people want us to do that. Yeah.
I think as well, what's a really cool part, and what I love talking to people like yourself, and I've been really lucky to be privy to this as well, building a team around, is when people are listening to this, if you're in just everyday life, you can actually build a team around you too. And you probably actually have it without even knowing it. Like, as you said before, your team's your mum, loosely, like your mum, a fitness instructor, head of high performance
conditioning.
So and then a psych. Like they're all things that if you want to build, you can, and it can be like mentors, other people.
Yeah.
And anytime I'm chatting to people about getting the best out of yourself, it's always like you are who you surround yourself with.
Totally.
You've got to have the right people around you and have pulling on the right tools to get you there, because you can literally. So many people just want to help with a lot of things. I think it's something that you don't have to be an Olympic athlete to have a team around you.
Totally. I think it's identifying what do you want to, what are your goals? What do you need to do to improve, and who's going to help you get there? Who are the experts in different fields where your weaknesses, where you can learn from? And definitely any high performers, I think, in any industry, they have that, because they understand and they accept that they don't have all the answers, and that for growth and finding solutions, they need to seek them, from other people who can help them. So building that team, building the culture as well is so important. And like team sports, they talk about that all the time. And it's a lot harder in individual sports, I think, to do that, where you've got competing, like you're a team, but you're also competing against each other. It's really hard sometimes to foster that that culture.
It is but it isn't as well, because in team sport, you're still competing with your teammates as well. And that's what, like, I think sometimes people, you're all, there's only so many spots on a team. So you still, I was still hoping back in the day someone broke their leg or something. I don't say that in a joking way. It's probably a bit sick, but that's what you just go to weird places, when you want your best for yourself, it's hard to want the best for others. But I spend a lot of time thinking, how can I recover from that?
Is this a therapy session?
Yeah, I didn't mean to trauma dump on you. The relationship with your mum, that's like really interesting around, and the way you were explaining it, like I feel like you really love that relationship in terms of her pushing you and bringing up ideas and stuff. Like I'm a dad now, I've got 2 little ones, and my parents' early days, like I sort of wish they put more pressure on me sometimes to actually, like they were, I don't wish anything was different, but they were so just like, oh, you want to play footy? Yeah, cool, you can do it. Or if you want to do this, yeah, sweet. They weren't like pushing me to go like, oh, hey, why don't you go for a run, or why don't you do this sort of thing. And I had to learn that later on, that that's actually what you did.
Yeah, okay.
But in your aspect, you're saying like you sort of had that. Like, how do you find some relationships like that where it's been mum and coach and
It's interesting how you say that you wish they'd put more pressure on, because often you hear people say the opposite.
The opposite,
that, their parents put so much pressure on them, or they were trying to live vicariously through them. And I do feel lucky that, my parents, they encouraged us to learn to paddle because they wanted us to share this family activity together. And, they were coaching here every afternoon, the national team. So it was convenient for them if we could be paddling because they didn't have to run around at all different sports. But they also wanted us to do, swimming, gymnastics, team sports. We played all different sports growing up. And I don't think they pushed us into it, but once we got that, like, bug for it, for me, once I committed to it and once I wanted to do it, they said, okay, well, this is what you need to do if you want to succeed. Like, you've got to be disciplined, and you've committed to a goal. So this is, the process, and you've got to turn up with intention and try your best. And I think I feel very lucky that I had 2 of the world's best as my mentors in a way. And it's tough sometimes because you don't switch off. And when I was living at home, I found it hard at times because mum wears the coach hat and the mum hat, but, she might have been in the living room being like, oh, what are you eating? Where,
Did you see what that Instagram person?
Or, oh, weren't you meant to, go for a run? Or, oh, don't you have that assignment due? And at times it was very helpful in the sense that she'd understand, oh, look, I'm not going to be able to go training on the weekend because I have a massive project or assignment that I've got to do. She'd understand that school and education was really important because she was the one instilling that in us too. So it was finding that balance. And as I've gotten older, it's more of a partnership in that we discuss everything. It's not like a dictator kind of coach where she's like, you've got to do this now. It's like, oh, let's discuss it. I don't think that's the best process for me anymore as I've gotten older, or let's try and find a middle ground and a compromise. So I think communication's always been really important, and finding the balance and finding what works. And a lot of people tell me there's no way I could be coached by my mum. Like, that just would never work for me. And it's not always easy, and of course we clash, but I think being able to live the incredible, moments that we have together has been heightened as well because of our relationship.
Amazing. Mate, being a parent is a coach.
Yeah, you definitely.
I feel like I'm just a coach now. That's all you're doing. Is just you're just trying to coach people to get the best out of themselves. Yeah, so it's the same thing. But no, I think your answer is fantastic. Like, it's funny because backstory, I've done a heap of podcasts lately, and parenting's just come up a lot throughout them, and the relationship of like sport and parenting, and parents putting too much pressure on kids, and then it actually stops. Like, there's actually a stat around female participant in sport has dropped off like ridiculously, and it's a lot to do with parents' pressures in sport and males as well, because it just becomes too much, and then kids give it away. So I think there's like a really good conversation to have around keeping people involved
and finding, when a child or a teenager is motivated and has that intrinsic motivation and goal and drive, that's where you've got to like support it.
Yeah,
and
go all in.
Yeah, support it and help foster that. But I think for me, I was always super driven as a kid. Like I was inspired by the Olympics and I definitely wanted to be an Olympian one day. And I remember being like 13 and sticking things up on my wall and just, being glued to the TV when the Beijing Olympics were on. And they saw that, my parents saw that. So I think they were like, yeah, we can support you if that's your dream. Like we'll support you and help you learn, I guess, how to get the best out of yourselves and keep you accountable. I think not spoon feed you everything and not, do everything for you, but, teach you the lessons that you need of resilience. And that's, I think, the biggest one in sport and that kids and teenagers can learn so much from is that resilience and the mindset that you get from sport. But it is like heartbreaking when you hear how many girls drop out of sport. And I don't know if it's the competition side or if it's the social structure that's got to change, or whether it's coaching or, it's probably a mix of everything. But I think as long as we keep people involved in sport and in physical activity, whether that's in the clubs as well, in the club system, that's really important too, just to keep that activity going and keep women in sport. It doesn't have to be competitive sport necessarily, but just I think the more women we have in sport, the more it becomes a safe environment for girls as well to want to be there because they can see more women and girls in sport. But yeah, I definitely have noticed that, especially in school kids. Like you see the drop off massively.
Yeah, no, for sure. Talking of obviously some medals, you've got a few.
Oh my God, I didn't even bring my medal today.
Were you going to bring it?
Well, I thought you might like to see it.
I would have loved to have seen it. I've never seen one before.
So sorry. And you know what? It's a year. Oh, can I call someone?
Is it a year to the day?
It's a year to the day that I won gold in Paris. Oh, maybe yesterday.
We can
this
say
week.
Just
it's a
pretend.
great week.
It's a week to the day. Wow.
Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot my medal. I thought about it last night and then, yeah.
You don't just drive around with it all the time, surely?
No, I don't. Sometimes it stays in my handbag all week because I have to bring it to an event or something.
Where do you actually, without giving it away, can you tell where you keep it? Because Mon really that was one question she wanted to know was where do you keep it?
People know where I live.
Yeah, true. Can you just give us like is it displayed or is it hidden?
No, it's not displayed.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one because I'm sure it would look amazing displayed, but I also think it's something that it needs to be shared and shown to people, and like it's actually in a state. It's a little bit. It's lived.
Yeah,
it's living. You
want it to live. You ain't gonna get it out there.
It's been dropped. It's living. It's. But I think some people put them in a safe, or I've heard someone who's like it's in a bank in a vault.
Okay, relax.
Yeah,
just chill.
But then I've heard of people having them, and they've gotten stolen out of their cars. So it is kind of a little bit stressful. But no, I do believe that Olympic medals, especially when you hear how many people, supported you and watched you and enjoyed it. And when you see the kids' faces light up when you show them an Olympic medal, like it's something that needs to be shown and shared.
I don't know if I've heard this right, but we're talking before a little bit off the air. I'm a little bit woo. I believe in the universe.
Woo woo, yeah, me too.
Bit weird. But I definitely do. And someone was telling me I don't know where I heard this actually, but it was around the jewelry you were wearing into like the medals colours. Is this true? Because if so, I'm going to start doing this.
So woo woo.
Yeah, I love this.
I can't remember when I started realising that, but I think it was after Rio. So I won silver in London. I won bronze in Rio. And I remember looking back at photos, it might have been like 2017, 2018, and seeing that in London I was wearing silver jewelry all the time. And then in Rio, rose gold was really trendy at the time, and I had a lot of rose gold jewelry, and I was like, that's it. That's why I haven't won gold. No. Now, moving forward to Tokyo, I'm only wearing gold jewelry. So, yeah.
Did you wear gold in Paris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, like... I remember listening to, who was it, Nat Cook and Kerry Pothurst, Sydney 2000 beach volleyball gold medalists. And I remember listening to them they spoke at an event, and Nat would say that like everything had to be gold. Like she washed herself in like gold body wash and things like that. So I remember that story and being like, okay, well, the gold jewelry, it's got to be gold. And just little things I remember I would, I had like a perfume. I tend to like having like for the year something, or if I've got an event, I'll get like a special perfume that might mark that event. And for Paris, it was Chanel because, you have to have some Chanel for Paris. Yeah. And I found one that was called Chance. And I was like, well, I'm going to need a little bit of luck, Chanel Chance. And then what I saw was that they were called eau fraîche, which means fresh water. There was another one. And then one was called eau vive, which is white water. And I was like, that's the Paris perfume. Like it's white water, it's Paris because it's Chanel, and it's got a little bit of luck. So that was my race perfume. Spritz that, and so now whenever I smell it, I'm like, that takes me back to Paris.
Well, you obviously know that the scent is the strongest form of memory.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone knows that, but I thought I just really like that.
No, I like.
I
those
didn't make
sort of
that one up.
things,
That's
like,
true.
And then I end up being a little bit superstitious.
Yes.
Like I remember I didn't have a good first run, or I had a good race, and so I kept the same sports bra for the whole week. I was like, I can't wash this, and it stunk by the end of it. I was like, this is so bad.
So you didn't have a good race?
Or no, I did. It was either I didn't have a good race and I changed my outfit. I think that's what I did. I didn't wear the same kit. And then, or maybe that was Tokyo. And then for Paris, it was like, okay, well, every run that was good, I just kept
the same kit.
Yeah.
Love that. Do you like read books and pods and stuff about this? Like, what's some material that you've like loved or you've learned a lot from?
When I was younger, I read every autobiography that I could.
Really?
Like it was any athlete that I could learn from. I was like, give me all the information. Like I remember reading, Andre Agassi's Open, Rafael Nadal's book, Anna Meares as well as an athlete I really admired because she was just such a boss and resilient, incredible woman and athlete and leader. Oh gosh, it's hard to know. But then in the lead up to Tokyo especially and towards Paris too, like any sort of self-help book that I could learn from, I had this like little black book, I called it. And, if it was Atomic Habits or, the highly effective people, the habits of, I can't remember the name of the book.
One.
There's all these different, self-help books. I would read them and then I would, highlight those key moments in them that really stuck with me, and I'd write these in the little black book. I would also seek out which high-performing teams or athletes, like who do they work with, and then try and listen to podcasts about their sports likes or coaches, like the All Blacks coaches, or I really liked, there was a book on the All Blacks sports psych, Dr. Kerry Evans, I think it was, and it's like a hot-cold theory around, sort of your arousal levels to be at your peak during performance. And, I remember highlighting that and writing the notes in the book. So I sort of collect
different
parts that might resonate with me, that I might learn from other people or that I might hear on a podcast. And it's sort of, in a way, is like me building my toolkit, and I can draw on those moments of inspiration from others or different tools that they've used that might come in handy for me in a big moment. Because coming into Tokyo, coming into Paris, I knew that they would be such high pressure situations for me because you're one of the favourites, you're face at the games as flag bearer. I thought, there's never going to be another moment as big as this in terms of the pressure I'm going to feel, and it could overwhelm me and make me crumble, or I'm going to be able to deal with this and it's going to be the greatest achievement of my life. Like, I remember crossing the line in Paris and I'm cold. I'm not going to cry. I just realised I sound like I'm shaky. But But I remember crossing the line in Paris and just having this overwhelming sensation of like satisfaction, relief, and like, oh my God, I pulled it off. Like, wow, I could have crossed the finish line and, you know, all the media, everyone would be saying, wow, what a flop. Like, she couldn't handle the pressure. Or like in this moment, it was just massive because I'd overcome all the fear, all the doubt, all those like what ifs, and been able to rise to like that moment in pressure that I'd never experienced before. Like, it was so intense.
Do you have to learn to love pressure? Like pressure, I love this quote around like pressure's a privilege.
Pressure's a privilege, yeah.
And to obviously be able to back it up, like talk us through that feeling at the gate in Paris, like before the run. Like there must have, in one point, do you know Jonah Oliver? Have you ever worked with Jonah Oliver before? He's a psychologist actually for the Australian Olympic, but it must be a lot of them that work through different because there's a lot of obviously team. And he talks about like pressures of privilege and the fact that Olympics is honestly the hardest event ever because athletes are training for 4 years to get to this one event, and everyone tells you in sport like this is the big moment, this is when you got to do your best, and it's like it's actually the opposite. It's like this is when you just have to do what you do and like calm down and get into it. Like what was your sort of motivation on that?
Yeah, it's unlike any other event, you know, a World Cup or a World Championship. You think like, yes, I want to win this and I want to do my best, but if it doesn't happen this time, there'll be another year, like next year. The Olympics is like once every 4 years, and for some people, it's one Olympics that they get to go to. So
you're not guaranteed to come back.
Exactly, and you know, I've been fortunate to go to 4. London was amazing. It was like first game, so nothing to lose, win a silver medal. Wow, what a dream. Rio was the first time I experienced that pressure of like, can she turn the silver into gold? And I won bronze, which was
amazing,
but disappointing.
Yeah.
It wasn't what I was aiming for. And then Tokyo was like devastation with the kayak, winning bronze. Again, amazing to win another Olympic medal, but learning to then bounce back and like perform under pressure and win the gold in the canoe. Like that was a pivotal moment in my career where pressure felt so intense that it affected me in my posture. It affected me in like mentally. I was in a really dark place for those 48 hours and had to like
prior to the race,
after the kayak race,
but heading into the
canoe. Yeah, like mentally was the toughest. Like 48 hours to bring myself back into a state where I could lift and perform. And then Paris was interesting because the lead-in was really challenging. Like we'd broken up with my partner. I'd lost my grandpa who was meant to be at the games and in the stands. And that sort of lead-in was like turbulent and emotionally, you know, a lot. And on top of that, I knew I was going to be flag bearer, and the intensity of that, you know, moment was going to be massive, but I also knew it could be so magical. I was sharing it with my sister. So I came into Paris knowing I was better equipped to handle pressure, but also, you know, you've got to know that it might not go your way. And our sport is not like in, you know, some of the other more linear sports that don't have as many variables, like swimming or in athletics, for example, where you know your form coming in, you know the times you're doing are world best, or that no one's going to beat you if you put down your best race. Whereas for us, you don't know what the course is going to be, you don't know what the conditions are going to be, and you know, I was in the best shape of my life coming into Tokyo, feeling the best ever, and then somehow in the kayak, I felt like I was paddling in glue. Like you just kind of don't know on the day. So mentally, I just wanted to be so robust that I was ready, whatever the conditions, however I woke up that morning. The likelihood of you waking up on the day of the Olympics feeling great is like, you know, pretty slim. So I was like, whatever happens, I'm going to be ready and I'm going to own it. Like, this is my moment. It's Paris. It's meant to be, you know, and believing was the biggest one. So, yeah, even though the pressure is uncomfortable, I think even though I fluctuated between I hate this, get me home, and like, wow, I'm so ready, I can't wait, in those 2 weeks leading up, it all came down to like having confidence in my preparation, confidence in my like mental strength and processes, that I could switch off all the little voices and all the doubt and fear and just be like, no, like process, you're warming up, you're getting into the start gate. You are more ready than you've ever been for this. It's your moment to do your best. So when I look back at that footage in Paris, I'm just so proud of how I was able to get into that like killer mindset that I am ready to own this course and I'm ready to just do my best today. I think like my mantra was, I deserve to do my best today. Even though I wanted to win and I thought, I deserve to win, this is my 4th try, like I can do this. I think, you know, you're not given just because of what you've achieved before or, you know, whether you feel you deserve it. You've got to go out and earn it. So it was really the self-talk, the belief, the confidence that I had to really build in myself to sit in that start line and be like, let's go. Like 12,000 people in the stands, everyone watching in Australia. Like, it's such a unique feeling, such a unique moment. But when you pull it off, it's probably the best feeling in the world.
It's very gangster. Very, very gangster. That's very cool the way you explain that. I
actually can't even remember what your question was. I feel like I just went like...
Well, probably wasn't as good as the answer that came back, but that was very well done. The point as well around like, you know, all those lead ups, you said like 4 Olympic Games, like you wouldn't have those wins without the lessons on the way through, I suppose, of what you got to. But even around what you were saying before about like as much as you're in like great physical condition, all these other things happening in your life behind the scenes, it's quite interesting, isn't it? Like around another quote for you, but they say like you can't weather a storm, you got to learn to dance in the rain.
Yeah.
And it's like Olympics, relationships, passings, like you can't time that stuff. And it's not just Olympics, it's just life in general, like learning to just go with it and not let those things detach you from the end goal.
And I think if you wait for the conditions to be perfect to start or to be ready, then you know you'll never be ready, because life doesn't work that way. There's always going to be something that's going to challenge you, distract you, throw you off a little bit, and it's those people who can like you say, dance in the rain or dance in the storm, that will get out on the other end. I wish I remembered all the quotes that I love, but I used to write them down in like my journal, a fresh journal, and I'd write like skip pages and write them down, and then as I was, you know, journaling throughout the year, I'd come across a quote I'd written, you know, back in January and be like, oh wow, that's a great quote that really fits this moment. You know, it was like past Jess talking to future Jess. But I think one that always stuck with me was like a river cuts through rock, not out of sheer force, but out of persistence. And it's that, you know, not giving up and chipping away at something that I think has, you know, for me in my career and that longevity, it's like that never giving up, that one more race, one more training session. Like I'm getting closer to my goal and I'm building, you know, I'm adding a brick to this wall that I'm building. And it's really powerful for me to reflect now and think about all the moments where I was like, oh, there are sliding door moments throughout your whole life and your career that could have shifted your course. But you stuck to it. You know, you wanted to keep going and you wanted to see it through and believed that you could.
So cool. I want to tell you about this book, and I think you'd like it. You'd really like it. I'm going to send it to you. Okay, I'll send it to you. You don't have to give me your address because I know you've got the you got the medals there and stuff. But it's called The Mountain Is You, and not by any means do I think that you have a mountain in front of you, because you've probably already clocked this book. But sometimes, you know, when you read stuff, it just affirms to you what you've already done and what you've been through, and you didn't know it was a thing at the time.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I've actually been banned from talking about this book from Daphne and Mom because it's like I talk about it too much. But it's been like I haven't brought it up.
You're the one promoting it.
Well, I haven't spoken about it for like 12 months, so it's fair time. But I feel like you'd actually really like it.
I've heard of it, but I haven't read it.
Okay, I will send it to you. And there's this really interesting. The reason I bring it up is like everything you're saying is basically about, and there's this really cool part of the book where I reckon you would like that I'm going to do as well. And it's sort of towards the end after you've read it, but there's this exercise where you write a letter to yourself 5 years ago. So you write one saying like, wow, like what's changed or, you know, what you've learned and moments at the time that were shit that you thought were like career ending or things that really, you know, you learnt from, and then in hindsight now you're like, fucking hell, that's crazy.
You got through that or
And then the next part though is you write a letter to yourself in 5 years. So then you write a letter to yourself saying like, oh, hey mate, like can't believe how well you've done in 5 years. Can't believe you did X, Y, Z. So you are writing a letter to, you know, 10-year period of like where you are. It's really interesting. I actually have. I wrote.
Has it been 5 years? Have you reread the letter?
It's only been like 3 years.
Where'd you put the letter? Like, did you dig it, bury it, like a time capsule?
I don't know where the letter is, but I do remember though there was a few things that I really wanted to get a hold of in my life, and like the two things were like I wanted to. Some things are like not. They're not. Well, like one thing is I really wanted to start a family, and like we were lucky enough on that trip actually when I wrote, this is actually a bit weird, when I started writing that letter, we then fell pregnant on that trip.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer that when you write it down, you're putting it out.
I know, but I still don't fucking do it enough. And then the other thing was I just really wanted to get on top of like my health and like not just physical, but like my mental health and like, you know, we talk physical and mental a lot, but like I just genuinely believe now they're both connected. Like it's just health. It's not mental. It's not physical. They're just the same thing. And like I look back now and then when I reread it in 5 years, I'll be reflecting and I'll be like, fuck, I'm proud of you because you did do this. And there was some seriously challenging periods in that I thought this is fucked, but it actually got you to the next part.
Yeah, I love those kinds of exercises. I did it before Paris where I wrote, when I got to Paris, I think it was like our last training camp. And I wrote like a letter to myself being like, I'm so proud of you for getting this far. Like you've worked so hard. It was kind of I speak to myself in like third person, you know? Yeah. And I went back through my journals and, you know, rereading that, I remember being like, wow, like it was a really hard place to be in mentally because like I said, I was kind of up and down. But then when you look back, you go, wow, you still had that like strength to say like, it's going to be okay, whatever happens. Like I'm telling you it's going to be okay. If it hadn't have gone well, I don't know how I would feel reading back to it.
So maybe it was never not going to.
Yeah, maybe. But I do believe like when you're writing it down, like, you know, every year I'll write down goals and things that I want to try and do that year. And some of them are like, you know, big competition goals and others are just, you know, I want to be a good friend and, you know, go to this or do this and actually prioritize something that if I don't write it down, I might not do because I'm a to-do list kind of person where if it's written down, I want to cross that off. And then there are other things that are just really light and fluffy that I'm like, but that'll make me happy if I can do that and achieve that. So like I want to learn to make a focaccia. I still haven't crossed that one off for this year. Focaccia. It's like bread.
Like the actual bread or just you want to learn how to like...
Focaccia. Like a real good focaccia.
I thought it was focaccia, but...
Focaccia. I don't know. I'm not Italian.
There you go.
Focaccia.
Yeah.
Sorry, this
you're
is
saying like though you want to like
tangent.
You want to like knead the bread, the dough and stuff, or you want to just buy the focaccia and then make it yourself?
No, like I want to make the bread.
Oh, cool.
From scratch. Have that satisfaction of like dipping that in some good pumpkin soup. And being
I
like,
actually don't really like focaccia that much. I'm more of a sourdough sort of guy.
That's okay. We can.
Do you like croissants?
Absolutely, but I'm very snobby about croissants.
Well, you're French.
Yes, I'm French. And actually, the best croissant you will have in Australia, you're from Melbourne, so Loon is pretty good. But we have one of our coaches is French here, and his wife, Sarah, makes the best croissants. And so
you just go to Sarah's.
Sarah's house. She supplies a few cafes around Penrith. Oh, okay. So if you're in Penrith, like the best croissants are here.
Yeah.
I'm going to say.
There you go. Can I ask one more thing, right? So what do you do? You said before about like you want to be a good friend and stuff you're talking about. What do you do outside of sport? Like what are things you like? Do you like on concerts, like movies? Do you go out and have a splurge and have a good night out, or is it training at the moment? Like Are there times for that?
Yeah, like definitely in season, I wouldn't be going out too often. I mean, I say that I'm in bed at 9 p.m. even when I have the time to go out. But I do love, like, if there's a wedding, I am going to be on that dance floor as soon as the music
I'm a wedding
starts
guy too.
until, or an after party, I will be on that dance floor. Like, I do love I'm not a big drinker at all, but like dancing with friends and, you know, having a good time, love. Like in Paris, you know, we had a great time. We were partying and celebrating, and I think it took me like 3 weeks to recover when we got home. But I love, musicals. Love going to a musical. I think anything that's like an art or a performance I can really appreciate, like a live show I love.
Have you seen Jersey Boys?
Oh, yeah.
I've seen Jersey Boys 3 times.
Me too, yeah.
I've seen it 4 times.
Oh, okay.
No.
It's the best.
Yeah, good Jersey
the
Boys.
best.
Yeah, it's great.
I love a musical, and we spent so much time in London a couple of years ago for the World Champs that I actually structured my training schedule so that I could go watch a musical each week because they're so much cheaper over there.
Yeah, they're so expensive here, aren't they? It's actually...
Yeah, but
they deserve
I'm like,
it, but
I will invest in arts. I will go pay for watch
Good.
a show. It's the best. And yeah, just catching up with friends when I'm home is always super important. And you know, some of them have kids now, which is amazing to, you know, see them grow up and be Auntie Jess and get to hang out with my friends and their babies. It's pretty special. It kind of just like reminds you that kids do not give a shit whether you've won a medal or not. Like they're just happy to, you know, show you their car and little toy that they've got, and keeps you grounded and humble for sure. But yeah, just I think being home, enjoying our beautiful country and getting out in nature for me is super important, like mental health and switching off as well.
Green spaces.
Yeah.
Hey, post Paris, your life has probably even just gone up a notch in terms of like the chaoticness and like we were chatting before sort of when we're in the going down the run around how hard it is for some athletes to even, you know, continue in training, and they're off to work now, and like you've got amazing partners and with you that help you support everything you do. Like how important has that been for you, and special, I suppose, like especially with you know, RedBull to help do that?
Oh, like I think I was mentioning, you know, I'm an individual athlete, but there's a whole team around me. And obviously there's the immediate team, but then there's the partners and sponsors who help me actually do this for a living now, which is amazing. And RedBull's been my longest partner, like since I was like 20, since I was, you know, 19, 20, a little.
So they got in very early. They weren't jumping on the coattails, were they?
2014. And I remember when I got my first RedBull helmet and like the dream that it was, you know, to get the wings and I kind of also felt the pressure after that to be like, wow, okay, I've got to like live up to this almost. But it became pretty clear quickly that it's not just about that. It's about the family. It's about, you know, helping you achieve your dreams, and also the other things that they can, like there's amazing athletes who are part of the RedBull family that I get to hang out with, you know, within the Australian family, but internationally, and also, you know, being able to do different things like this and have fun with it, and go, you know, surfing with Molly at Urban Surf and do little projects like that are fun and just kind of fill your cup in a different way. But also if I was to say to them, like, this is something I'm really struggling with, they would say, well, let's help. Let's find the expert who can help you with that. So it's really about the high performance element too, which has been amazing in this partnership. So yeah, I'm super grateful to all my sponsors who let me do this and let me chase my dreams. And it's also given me some cool, different like learning experiences and opportunities. And I think we were talking earlier about how like the balance and how like my weeks are so unique and so different. But like yesterday, for example, I was on a shoot with my mum with L'Oreal Paris and like doing a makeup thing. And then, you know, today I'm out here, we're going rafting. Tomorrow I'm going to Canberra to, you know, meet the Prime Minister and like other athletes. And like every week is a little bit different, and there's been some incredible opportunities. And moments that have come from, the people that I get to work with and those who support me. So super grateful for all of it.
Yeah, well, you've also incredibly deserved it, which is a credit to yourself. What's next for you? What's the goals, plans? What's the next little period look like for yourself to... Yeah, where are you measuring to, I suppose? Is it just for World Champs that are hosted here?
World Champs is the big one. So Home World Champs is like a once-in-a-career opportunity.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
It's amazing. Yeah. And, we want as many people here as possible. So, there's still tickets.
Is tickets online?
Yeah, tickets online on Ticket Tech.
And it's in... No.
It's 29th of September to the 3rd of October.
Cool.
And you're all welcome, and there's a medal event every day. So every day that we're racing, there's a medal to be won, and the Aussies will be in action and striving to get onto the podium and have a big crowd and a big atmosphere. And I think, what we loved about Paris Games was just how many people were watching and excited about the sport, and how many, kids got on the water and wanted to have a go. So I was one of them. In 2005, I watched the World Champs here. Little kid on the hill cheering on the Aussies, and now we get to do that at home, which is amazing. So we want as many people here as possible. But before that, we've got World Cup events. So I'm going back to Europe in a few weeks to race the last two races.
Where are they in Europe?
Slovenia, so in Ljubljana, which is beautiful part of the world. Yeah. And
is that in a is it?
It's kind of the. No, so yes and
that's
no.
When I try and
There's a few artificial whitewater courses around the world, mostly the ones that were built for the Olympics. So like the London course for the London 2012 Games, Rio, obviously, Tokyo. They've all got man-made courses that are like world-class, grade 3 whitewater, and gives you more flexibility in changing the course features. And then there are some courses around the world where we race that there's a natural river, and they made modifications, or there's sort of like an arm that's off the side of a dam that they can then make a slalom course on, which is pretty cool. So the one in Slovenia, it's called Tartzen, and my parents used to race there, and it's one of the coolest courses because it's very unique and doesn't feel like an artificial course. And then we go to Augsburg in Germany for the World Cup final, which is the course from the 1972 Olympics. So that's pretty cool, sort of heritage OG venue that we go to.
That's so cool.
And that's awesome. So, I'm looking forward to racing. And this year it's also kind of special for me because I'm partnering with a charity, High Impact Athletes, who do a lot of work with different charities and athletes. And I'm trying to raise funds for clean, safe water because millions of people around the world die every year from preventable illness, which can be solved from, clean and safe drinking water. So for $2.50, you can give someone access to clean water. So for every clean gate I go through, I'm going to pledge to Evidence Action Safe Water Program and hopefully, get more people around the world drinking safe, clean water. So I'm going to count how many clean gates you got today, and I'm going to pledge.
There was a few.
And I'm going to pledge. So $2.50 for a whole year, someone can have safe water.
Amazing. So $2.50 per gate, is that what it is?
No, I'm pledging $10 per gate, but for $2.50, one person gets access to safe water for a whole year. So it's pretty cool to have like that much impact. So throughout the season, I'm trying to be clean and fast, win medals, of course.
Do you have a page on that, or is it?
Yeah, it's on my Instagram.
Cool, because what we'll do is we always say, if someone does have a charity that they're working with, obviously we'll do something on as well. I can't think of anything yet, but we will. And if anyone has enjoyed this episode, obviously this content's free. Yeah. So if you've really enjoyed this, if you've got something out of it, like go and donate, a couple bucks or whatever you think's appropriate to support and thank Jess for her time on the podcast.
I would love that. That's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, it'd be great. So we'll put the link in the show notes for that as well.
And come watch the Worlds.
Watch the Worlds.
If you're in New South Wales or Penrith or
if
even
you're
Victoria.
If you're travelling, easy drive out here on the
M4.
The M4, it's beautiful. And you can get out to Penrith.
See the Blue Mountains.
I used to do a bit of work out here.
It's a beautiful part of the world.
Beautiful part of the world, yeah.
It gets a bad rap sometimes, Penrith, but I think, we're changing the mindset. There's a lot to be
going
grateful for.
Off, really off script. I watched a documentary a few years ago because as I mentioned, I used to live in Sydney and I'm a Western Sydney boy, technically.
What do you mean?
Well, I used to play for the Giants.
Oh, the Giants. Yeah,
you knew that,
sorry. Yeah.
obviously. Yeah.
No,
Obviously.
I thought you grew up in Victoria.
No,
so
I did, but I bleed Western
you are now
Sydney. I bleed
Western
Western Sydney, yes.
Yes.
Out at Rudy Hill and
Love.
Blacktown.
Yep.
Beautiful spots. And Homebush is where we used to train.
Yep.
But there was a documentary on, and this I'm not making light of this, but it was a really interesting documentary on Mount Druitt.
Yeah.
So it's quite a crazy sort of place.
Yeah.
But do you watch 1-4? You know the Group 1-4?
Yeah.
You know them?
Yeah.
Amazing. Have you seen that documentary?
No, I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it.
Their
yeah.
music's incredible. These are 4 guys that they brought drill rap to Australia.
Yeah.
Really tough upbringing, but they work with like oh God, what's his name? The other guy, Kid Leroy.
Yeah.
So all from Western Sydney.
Yeah. I think, there's a lot of hardship and
Yeah.
there's also a lot of like determination and grit to make it. And, we see that also with athletes who have come out of Western Sydney.
It's tough.
And
Like it's real. I think people really wear it with pride.
Yeah, definitely. There is like so much pride in Western Sydney. I mean, it's Panthers territory out here, and a lot of the players have come out of Mount Druitt. A lot of players have come out from a lot of Western Sydney areas, and I think there's so much pride in our area, but also our sport, and seeing people in our area succeed. You can really feel the love. Like when we came home from the Olympics, I don't know, it made me so proud to be from Penrith because everyone just showed so much love and support and was so proud of us and proud of Penrith. Like they put Penrith on the medal tally,
That's so good. They're so proud.
It was pretty cool.
There was another group actually so obviously Nathan Cleary and Bam Bam Tuivasa, the UFC fighter. They had like a drink called like West.
Yeah.
Something like.
It's actually on the when you drive out on.
Is it? I have to check it out.
you'll
But I remember
pass
their
it.
song they did with like, you should be in this next time. It was like Shannon Knoll, Bam Bam, Nathan Cleary, and Jess Fox will be in the next one, and they're just like singing this like big song together. And I was like, this fucking, because they're all Western Sydney.
Yeah.
This is sick.
I mean, there's also Pat Cummins, Paige Hadley.
No, I'm off Pat Cummins though. I don't, because he goes for the Swans. He's like an eastern suburbs guy now. He's not embracing being Western Sydney. So
True.
if you don't want to embrace it, you can piss off. We're not interested. Anyway, I'm annoying you and not annoying. I'm taking up too much time. But hey, thank you.
Gave Western Sydney a great plug.
We love
Thank
Western
you.
Sydney here. I bleed Western Sydney colours, which orange and charcoal, black and what are they? Black and yellow and
What,
Panthers.
For Panthers, yeah.
and
Black, yellow, red, green. Yep.
Go Panthers. Anyway, Jess, appreciate it. We got a bit sidetracked there, but I really appreciate your time. You're an absolute star. Honour to meet you, and thank you very, very much for your time today.
Thank you.
Out
Love
on the
your
river
work.
sick. Can't wait for World Champs as well.
Thank you. I want to know if you pull up sore tomorrow because
I'm already sore.
Yeah,
no, my
okay.
hip flexors. This is a thing we were talking about. Like everyone thinks it's upper body.
No, yeah.
It's not. It's
not.
lower.
It's everything. It's full body. Like
What do you
you're
squat? What do you squat?
Oh no! Don't ask me about my squat.
You no good?
No, ask me about my pull-ups.
What do you do? How many pull-ups do you do?
Well, no, my max ever was
Oh, like
50
with the weight?
kilos with one. Or did I get 49?
No,
I can't-
50.
Let's just say 50. I was
Yeah.
close enough.
So you
yeah.
do one max with a 50
Yeah.
chin. Yeah.
That's my PB.
What else are you good at? Bench?
Bench is okay.
No, it'd be more back,
Bench
wouldn't
pull.
it? Bench row? Bench row.
Yeah,
bench
single
pull.
arm rows are pretty. I do, if I'm in a public gym, I don't mind doing a bit of single arm row because people are like,
And that's a hard exercise too.
You're pretty good.
Yeah. Good on you.
But I won't be squatting, no.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not good
I'm
at
a big
squatting.
squatter.
Ask the rowers. I'm friends with some of the rowing girls who train out here and they are weapons in the gym. Like I do some sessions with them sometimes and they're like circuit, they're squatting and like adding weights. And I'm like, I'll just do the lowest form of body weight.
Well, I've gone up a jean size in the last 12 months and it's in a good way.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yes. Happy for you.
Yeah, the trunk's going well. The donkey donk. Anyway, let's get out of here before I keep saying weird shit. Thank you again. I appreciate you. Thanks to everyone, and Red Bull gives you wings. Cheers.
Thank you.
See you later.
Thanks so
Well
much.
done.